So this right here is the Peacemaker. This is for testing rooftop air conditioners for RVs. So if you've got a Diagnostic, Coleman, GE, Advent, Furrion, those air conditioners, you are able to plug into them as long as they have a pigtail. With this tool right here, we are actually monitoring voltage and amperage simultaneously. We can see what the voltage is coming in as well as the amperage being consumed. When it comes to powering this box, I recommend that you do not use the plugs inside the RV. So what I recommend is that you get a 50 to 20 amp adapter, dog bone, so that way you can plug into the 50 amp portion of the pedestal if they're plugged into the 30. But then I would also get a 30 to a 20, so that way if they're plugged into the 50, you can utilize the 30. Why don't we just utilize the 110 that's right there? We don't want to use a GFCI protected circuit because air conditioners and GFCIs tend to not play well together.
Say what?
Now, when we're hooking this thing up, the first thing that we want to do is we want to verify that this tool is doing what it's supposed to do. So we're going to grab our Diagnostic adapter. We're going to grab our light bulb, and by default, no adapters on the light bulb. It plugs into a Diagnostic. So now we are the control box over here, and we are the air conditioner over here. So we can test that the Peacemaker and the light bulb are doing what they're supposed to do. We've got them plugged into one another. All of our switches are in the off position, and we are going to power this unit up. Okay, it booted up. We are not calling for anything, so you will notice that there's no lights on the light bulb. However, if I turn the compressor on, is compressor. Okay, we got a blue light for compressor. High fan, we got our green light. Low fan, yellow light. And if I wanted to test heat pump, I would press the heat pump button. When I do that, it shuts everything off for 16 seconds, allowing the compressor to start equalizing. Then we're gonna fire the reversing valve and hold it on. And then 16 seconds after that, we're gonna fire the compressor and fan back up. So right now, we see that our reversing valve is active. We're gonna wait 16 more seconds, and we are going to fire the compressor and fan back up. And there we are. So everything on the Peacemaker is functioning correctly. We're gonna hook up, make sure the 110 is off, and we're gonna plug the air conditioner in first. Then we can plug the power in. Because if you have this plugged in and you accidentally have the compressor on or high fan on, and then you go to plug in this in, you will melt plugs and connectors inside these. So we're plugged in, and we are at 124 volts AC and 0 amps of current. Current is how much work is being performed. I'm gonna go ahead and hit high fan. So on high fan, we're reading approximately 2.2 amps. Low fan, 1.58, okay? So that's good. We're reading correctly on our fan. Now I'm gonna turn the compressor on. Current is 8.96 amps, okay? Now we're not gonna make any decisions until we get 20 minutes of runtime. Most of your warranty companies wanna see 20 minutes of runtime. Do not run just the compressor for 20 minutes. So we're gonna kick the fan on, let it move some air. We're gonna let it run for 18, 20 minutes, and then we turn the fan off and we can get just the current for the compressor. Now, some of these units, you're not gonna get 20 minutes of runtime. What's gonna happen is they're gonna run like 4 or 5 minutes, and the amperage is gonna climb to the point that it trips the breaker. That does happen. You can't get 20 minutes of runtime. You're gonna be basing your warranty off of that. Or it's gonna run for 20 minutes and the amperage never gets above like 3, okay? Does that make sense? Now, is there anything wrong with this unit? It seems to be working. The compressor works, high fan works, low fan works. Now I'm gonna tell you, it didn't when I got here. I kicked on the compressor and the compressor didn't run. The overload was bad. High fan would work, low fan would work, but the compressor would not. It made troubleshooting it very easy because I knew I was sending power to the compressor, but the compressor wasn't running. So simply just taking the top off and following the flow, I knew that I had power coming in, but I had no power coming out. Bingo, it's right here. Now, if I had power making it all the way to my compressor and it wasn't running and there was 0 amps, what does that tell us? The windings are bad in the compressor. Yeah. Okay, plain and simple. Another little thing I want to tell you about is if you turn the compressor on, do not turn it off and then turn it back on. It will trip breakers, okay? Because that's locked rotor amps. That's not a bad capacitor. That is the fact that the unit did not have a chance to equalize. You turn it back off, make sure you leave about a minute, minute and a half before you turn the compressor back on. Otherwise, you're gonna have locked rotor amps. Also, with this tester, 90 minutes, it's going to shut down and keep anything from running. The only way to reset that timer is to unplug it and plug it back in. That resets the 90-minute timer. The reason for this being is because there are some really kind-hearted people that want to leave their tools behind because somebody's control board has failed or their thermostat has failed, and they leave the tool hanging from the AC so that way these people can have an air conditioner for the next couple of days. Well, when you use this, there's no freeze sense, there's no nothing. It's just running that compressor and that fan full blast 24/7. We don't want that, okay? We don't want to leave our tools in their RV overriding all the safeties. So that's why we built that in there. Also, if you were to power up this unit with the heat pump button pressed, it's going to go into an immediate fault and will not run anything, okay? It will not let you start up in the heat mode. In order to get it out of heat mode, you simply depress the button and it goes solid blue, and now we can run stuff. So also, if you're curious, wondering, hey, is that button working? That's a way to test the button. Press it, plug it in. If you get the fault code, you know the button's actually doing what the button's supposed to do. Some of you are familiar with the newer air conditioners and the newest refrigerant that's out, R32. So some of the units are like GE, they're switching their plugs out because of the new refrigerant, because it has propane in it. This kit does come with the R32 plug for GE. The Dometic plug still works with Dometic. Coleman still works with Coleman. As far as we can tell, everything is staying the same on those ends. Advent has changed their plug. We will be releasing that adapter hopefully in the next couple of weeks, but it works with Dometic, Coleman, Furrion, and then now GE. But Advent, we do work with the older Advents with the Dometic plug, but the R32 on the Advents, we don't have that plug yet. It should be in the next week or so. All right, let's do some more testing. We're gonna plug into the control box with the light bulb, and then we're going to go into, what is it, the service mode by pressing all three at the same time, and I'm terrible at this. Yep. There we go.
There we go.
Low fan, high fan, compressor. So we just didn't have 120 volts. Okay, so we were able to test this. Now when I go out to a unit and I go to do my testing, if I find out, let's say that we've got a compressor that's giving us issues or a capacitor that's giving us issues, we did our test and we see that we're getting locked rotor amps, and we go up to the top and we test our capacitor and find out our capacitor's bad, I'm dang sure going to be testing this control board. You know why? Because the relays that are on this board are rated for 20 amps. You know how many amps have been running through it? 56 to 60 amps, okay? How many times did that happen before you got called? How many times did the owner reset the breaker before they called you? And I don't know how many times those relays can handle being hammered with 60 amps. So if I go up there and I'm like, oh, it's a bad capacitor, I'm not just gonna run to town and go get a capacitor. I'm gonna go check the control board and make sure the control board's good, because we could change the capacitor out only to find out that while the capacitor was out, they fried the relay on the control board for the compressor. So we need to do both sides. We need to test both sides and do a full diag before we make any decisions and go get parts. Does that make sense?